A deadly car bomb explodes in South Africa just days before historic all-race elections. We'll have a live report from South Africa.
This is Daybreak Sunday on CNN Weekend with Ralph Wenge at CNN Center in Atlanta.
Good morning. A large car bomb exploded in downtown Johannesburg in South Africa today. The blast comes just 2 days before the start of the nation's first all-race elections. CNN's Bernard Shaw is anchoring our coverage in Johannesburg, and he joins us now live. Bernie?
Thank you, Ralph. It's a little after 2 in the afternoon here in Johannesburg. Until today, this city had seen calm in the run-up to this week's historic election. Now, the calm has been shattered. About 4 hours ago, an explosion shook the downtown area of Johannesburg. Police say it was a car bomb, the largest bomb explosion in this city's history. At least 6 people are dead, at least 92 injured. The car carrying the bomb was parked on a street about halfway between the national headquarters and the regional offices of Nelson Mandela's African National Congress. Police say the car was packed with 200 pounds of explosives. A witness described what he saw.
Only thing we saw the police search the car, yeah. After the police searched the car, they went over, they parked down there, and about 3 minutes later, the explosion came.
You said the police were here and they searched the car?
They searched the car, yeah, right here.
And the car came through?
The car, yeah, they left the car and the car parked there. It was about 5 minutes, I'll say 3 to 5 minutes, and the explosions came.
The South African Defense Force is now deploying in the downtown area. Police are offering a reward of about $100,000 for information about this bombing. The explosion happened on the last day of campaigning before this week's all-race elections. A spokesman for the African National Congress says the nation cannot let terrorists interfere with the vote.
And of course we must take serious the kind of threats that had been made by members of the ultra-white right wing during the last number of days, but I would not like to go beyond that at this moment.
Will this hamper the election process?
We will not allow this to hamper the election process. It is a serious act. We will take the necessary security measures, but at the same time we are going to go ahead with this election. We're going to go full out, and our call to our members are that now they must come out even in bigger numbers to vote, because the best way to deal with this kind of political thuggery is to make sure that democracy wins against intimidation and violence.
Our man Peter Arnett arrived at the scene shortly after the blast occurred. He joins us now with an update. Peter?
Yeah, Bernie, think of Beirut in the mid-'80s and think of mindless terrorism, and that's what you had in Johannesburg today. 2 city blocks closed off, glass, buildings destroyed, plus a hesitant, uneasy population straining, trying to get through the police barricades. I think we do have some new tape from the scene. This bomb came from a beige Audi, innocently parked at the side of the road. At the point of impact, the 200 pounds just blasted out the shops that were nearby. Passers-by, dozens of passers-by, were hit by the fragments of this bomb. Just imagine, Bernie, 24 hours from now, a working day. If these buildings had been occupied with their regular clientele, we would have had hundreds dead. As it was today, it was bad enough in downtown Johannesburg. The few people around were hurt or injured. Now, there were 2 police officers checking vehicles at the scene. The police told us they did have minimum security up. They were gathering evidence. Afterwards, we were told by the police that there were police patrols before this explosion. They were checking cars as they went through the area. At this point, though, having this explosion having taken place, revealing weaknesses in the security, they're putting out barbed wire. The police say that they will further secure the center of town. Now, a week ago, we did have the ANC headquarters cordoned off to the public because of concerns about Zulu marches. Now it'll be cordoned off again because of concern about this mindless terrorism. The police say they are determined that this will not happen again, and they are putting a security cordon around that part of town to prevent it happening. Bernie?
Thank you, Peter. Peter Arnett reporting live. Now, this blast comes on the last official day of campaigning for these elections, a day in which 2 leading candidates are in each other's backyards. African National Congress President Nelson Mandela is campaigning in Durban, capital of Natal Province. Now, that is a stronghold of support for Inkatha Freedom Party leader Mangosuthu Buthelezi. For his part, Buthelezi is holding a rally in the very place where Nelson Mandela counts his strongest backing, the township of Soweto. President F.W. de Klerk concluded his campaign yesterday with an appearance in Cape Town. South Africa's right-wing movement, which had threatened to boycott these elections, recently split in two. The extreme faction known as the Afrikaner Resistance Movement is still boycotting the vote. A more moderate wing of the movement, called the Freedom Front, announced that it will participate in the ballot. Now, just moments ago, we spoke with Constand Viljoen. He's the leader of the Freedom Front and a candidate in these elections. We first asked for his reaction to today's bombing.
It is a shocking incident. We all expected now, after the more all-inclusive situation with the IFP coming in, that this kind of thing would not happen. But apparently this happened, and I don't know what the target was, but it reminds you of the previous few similar explosions we had, for example, the car bombing in Church Street. But this is a shock to me, and I hope that this is not the beginning of a wave of such incidents.
Some white resistance groups have indicated that they would resist not only the election results, but they would certainly fight and demand an autonomous state to determine their own livelihood. And it is only speculation about who might be responsible for this bombing. One group, the right-wing Afrikaner Resistance Movement, a spokesman who did not identify himself, said he did not believe his guys would do that because we have told them not to. Do you have any feel for who might be responsible for this bombing?
No, not at all. The Afrikaner Resistance Movement is based in the Western Transvaal, and they are active in that area at the moment. I doubt whether they would come to Johannesburg, but I have no idea whatsoever.
What effect, if any, would such a bombing have on this nation's elections?
It is a dangerous situation. This might be intimidation, and this might create the fear amongst many people to go to the polling stations, out of fear for similar car bombs that might be planted next to the polling station. This is the real danger in our country. Now that we've got to the stage where at least we've got the IFP in, and we only have the element of the right wing out at the moment, it is a pity that this is happening now, because it will even affect the polling that we are hoping to have, because we're going the constitutional way to find for us people, for our people, and also for the other people, such as the Zulu people, self-determination.
We will be speaking to all the major players in these historic elections throughout our live coverage from South Africa. For now, that's it from Johannesburg. I'm Bernard Shaw. Ralph, back to you in Atlanta.
Bertie, thank you.